Hello everybody and welcome back to the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode with me, Dan, and we're beginning Season 2 today with the Radiant Racing team. It was a good end to the last season. We came third in the Constructors' Championship and picked up 5th place in the Drivers' Championship as well. Zhou Guanyu wasn't able to pick up any points, our teammate, but maybe this season will be his time to shine as we put to use the good prize money we received from the end of the previous season. And let's see how we get on in this season then. We've got one more season to go after this one before the next game comes out. I'm going to be doing daily uploads pretty much throughout all of June. And I'm on holiday this week, so if I did manage to get a video out by Friday, then you'll know that I actually finished them all. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell as well. As we move on to the starting grid order, and incredibly, Valtteri Bottas and Radiant Slothz line up on the front row, followed by Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez in the first Red Bull. Behind them we have the two McLarens, Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. No team changes just yet. Then Max Verstappen continuing his awful form. Starts P7 alongside Charles Leclerc. Running out the top 10, Carlos Sainz. And the usual suspect, Pierre Gasly, starts in P10. He's followed by his friend at the back in the midfield, Fernando Alonso. He's alongside Sebastian Vettel. Yuki Tsunoda lines up alongside Lance Stroll and the other Aston Martin. Then we get the first driver change. We've got Mick Schumacher moves over to Alfa Romeo for this season. Esteban Ocon's alongside him. Antonio Giovinazzi remains at Alfa Romeo, and as does Zhou Guanyu remaining in Radiant Racing. The two Williams, George Russell and Nicholas Latifi, line up on the penultimate row, followed by Nikita Mazepin and Christian Lundgaard. Well, as the new season gets underway, yes, we have lost Kimi Räikkönen to retirement. We have gained Christian Lundgaard. And of course, we've seen Mick Schumacher in a much better car than we did before. And another person we see in an unexpected location is Radiant Slothz, taking the lead into Turn 1 at the season opener in Bahrain. He does lose the position to Sergio Perez, who's made an absolute monster getaway. Nearly some contact there between Radiant Slothz and Sergio Perez. The car's still looking very plain, but rest assured, by the time we get to round 4, I can't remember exactly which race it is, but when we get to round 4, there will be liveries with sponsors on them. I believe it might be Azerbaijan, but we'll have to wait and see. As Radiant Slothz, he's retaken second place. Everyone falls back into almost the positions they started in. Zhou Guanyu still lower down the field at the moment, but there's some HQ upgrades going on at Radiant Racing right now. We might see some better components added to that car, some better facilities for Zhou Guanyu to improve. And of course, he's continually getting better as he continues to drive for this team, gaining experience at the back of the grid. Talking of the back of the grid, as we come around the final couple of corners here. Oh, let's go on board with Radiant Slothz before we go anywhere else. But a great start compared to Valtteri Bottas there as he gets down into Turn 1. But then as the Mercedes and Red Bull pick up and get up to their top speeds on his right-hand side, they just slot up the inside. Little drift through Turn 2 there. Tailing the Red Bull of Sergio Perez as they come around the top of the hill. Nice and easy around the outside. This is the onboard of Bottas. Yep, just does not get the power down whatsoever. He actually comes under threat from his teammate just on the left-hand side there. And Sergio Perez. I think the only reason he actually retook the lead there is because he jammed himself right in between Radiant Slothz and the line that he wanted to take. Very lucky for Bottas. Will rejoin Radiant Slothz coming onto the DRS straight to see if Sergio Perez can do anything. And as we were saying, the back of the grid, we've got Mick Schumacher. He's actually up into 13th right now, doing great. Clearly enjoying himself at his new team. His teammate Antonio Giovinazzi, he made a name for himself in the previous season by getting in everyone's way during the pit stops. Currently down in P20. We'll see if he can move his way back up the field a bit later on and cause some more chaos. Or maybe we'll get a new culprit this season. Who knows? Radiant Slothz fends off Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen has got past one of the McLarens. He's still having some difficulty back there. The end of the last season did not go very well for him whatsoever. Starting the final race of the season on the back row with Radiant Slothz and could not fight his way through the field to pick up a single point, losing the championship to Lewis Hamilton, who's currently sat in P4. And Sergio Perez going on the attack up the hill. DRS is open. Radiant Slothz, questionable weaving, but they're letting him have it. As he comes down that, we've got another DRS straight. Valtteri Bottas pulling a good 2.2 second lead over the Radiant Racing car at the moment. Good start for him. We don't really know how competitive most of these cars are going to be. We had regulation changes at the end of Season 1 for the chassis and the aero on the cars.
Box.
The engine power units have all remained the same, so no effect to the reliability nor the power output. Just cornering ability and straight line speed potentially when it comes to the drag as Sergio Perez goes down the inside of Radiant Slothz, who's coming into the pits anyway, so it didn't matter too much there. You've got Lewis Hamilton in, Daniel Ricciardo in, Max Verstappen in as well, and someone else in the background. That might have been Pierre Gasly. He's dropping down the field. It must be him. Medium tyres on. And Radiant Slothz approaches the pit exit. Newcomer Christian Lundgaard comes past in the Haas. And we'll be following him round for at least a lap as Radiant Slothz gets the tyres up to temperature. Further up the order. Right, Valtteri Bottas up at the front. He's going to have no DRS. He's got no one very close behind him. But now the likes of Hamilton, Verstappen and Ricciardo could potentially pull an undercut here. And they're going to get DRS. At least Radiant Slothz is. He's within DRS range of Lundgaard. Hamilton not so lucky, and Verstappen also dropped out, so perhaps only Radiant Slothz is going to get a chance here. Lewis Hamilton is in a much faster car, according to the FIA's predictions. Their performance diagram clearly stating that the Mercedes was very fast, as Radiant Slothz attempts to follow the Haas all the way up the hill without rear-ending it because of how slow it is. Nothing against Christian Lundgaard. I'm sure he's very good. But in that car, he's there to gain experience alongside Nikita Mazepin for this season. And it appears as though Lando Norris is coming to the pits now. Mick Schumacher. That's a sign of things to come, hopefully. Mick Schumacher up into P1 before he comes into the pits. We haven't seen a Schumacher up there for a very long time. As Bottas comes out of the pits, he's right in front of the Radiant Racing car. He's going to come under attack almost immediately here. DRS is open. Hamilton can't do anything to protect his teammate. And Radiant Slothz can't even do anything to get past. It turns out he's not fast enough, at least in a straight line with DRS, to get past the Mercedes. This is going to be particularly tricky if he does manage to pull a move. How is he even going to keep the position? We'll have to find out. Anyway, how's the rest of the order looking? Schumacher and Ocon still yet to come in. And the Ferraris not looking too well there, both outside of the points, although they might scrape one or two when Mick Schumacher and Esteban Ocon have come in. Which should be very shortly. And right, let's see. Radiant Slothz comes round down the back straight. He's closed up quite well, actually. Under 4 tenths. That might be enough. 3 tenths now. The slipstream helping him a great deal. Also, I'm just spotting Valtteri Bottas on the hard tyre. That's going to be compromising his cornering speed. As these two now take positions first and second and invert themselves into turn 1. Radiant Slothz draws alongside Valtteri Bottas as they go round turn 1 and into turn 2. Let's see what they can do here. Radiant Slothz picks up the lead, but Bottas is going to get the DRS as they come up the hill. Lewis Hamilton also looking to get involved, as well as Bottas is weaving all over the place there as Radiant Slothz goes incredibly defensive. But he has managed to keep the position. Further down the order, Mick Schumacher and Esteban Ocon still just outside the top 10. They've done all right there as we go on board with the move. Radiant Slothz breezes by with the DRS open. Leaves some space for Bottas, which is more than he would give. And up the hill they go, looking for the Mercedes in the mirror or on the right-hand side. Doesn't get an eye in, unfortunately for him. And we'll ride on board now with Valtteri Bottas as they come down into turn 1. There was a very aggressive move towards the outside of the corner there, towards the side pod of Radiant Slothz. I can't imagine he'd be too impressed with that had there been contact. And then this was the run up the hill. Bottas, lots of overspeed. If he just braked a little bit later, he may have been able to slot it up the inside and cause Radiant Slothz to have to go wide. Alas, he did not, and now he's decided that he's going to chase Radiant Slothz around Sakir. And he's quite close now as they come down towards the DRS straight. But it doesn't matter, Radiant Slothz gets over the curb, and now it's going to be a drag race. The Mercedes getting DRS as I butcher my words. Bottas gets ahead. And now Radiant Slothz is going to have to take another chance to try and get past him. What on earth happened there for the young driver? We'll see in just a moment. Can he reclaim the position? He is much closer than he was previously. We're going to cut back. Yeah, so a lock-up on the way in caused him to run wide onto the curb, which then made him compromise his entry to the corner. And that is a tricky corner to get right at the best of times. So here we go, down onto the pit straight again. We've got 4 laps remaining. Radiant Slothz DRS open again. Valtteri Bottas still on hard tyres. Of course he would be. He's going to be backing up the field if Radiant Slothz can get past. Valtteri Bottas is going to be backing everyone up because those hard tyres are not very good. But Bottas comes back. Radiant Slothz nearly had the move done there, and he has to go around the outside into turn 3, and he manages to do it. Potentially. Yes, he does. Bottas with an overcorrection there. Loses him a couple of attempts, and now he's under attack from his teammate as they come down the hill. Radiant Slothz still holding P1 at the moment. Can he hold on through the DRS zone as they come down? He made a mistake here just now. Nice and clean into the corner. Clips the curb nicely. He's a nice amount of runoff there. Valtteri Bottas. Not close enough. A hard tyre really compromising his exit for the corner. And it's gifting Radiant Slothz a 6/10, now 7/10 lead over the Finn as they come onto the final lap. And look at the gap, it's huge. There is no way that he can even attempt to try and take this position back. Valtteri Bottas, somehow his teammates not been able to get past him though in this DRS train. As they come into turn 1, Radiant Slothz will be compromising Bottas as much as possible. Coming up the hill, half a second ahead, goes defensive, but Bottas has given up. And that is Radiant Slothz coming around towards Sector 2 now. Unlikely to see any more overtakes going on before the end of the lap, but we'll have to find out. Mick Schumacher unfortunately dropped a couple of positions further down the order. Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda both in the points. That's a good start for AlphaTauri. Alpine, though, not having a great one. Fernando Alonso, who is consistently qualifying either 9th or 10th, breaks his trend during this race, starting 11th, has ended up in 16th. Not entirely sure what happened there. Perhaps another incident of putting on the hard tyres. Zhou Guanyu, another driver, not able to get into the points. But maybe his time will come soon. There's lots of plans for Radiant Racing to improve that car and their facilities. So he will have his day. Maybe we'll even see a race win by the end of the season. We'll have to wait and see. It's looking unlikely. But for now, Radiant Slothz picks up the first win of the season in Bahrain ahead of the two Mercedes, Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. But of course, it's driver of the day time. It is Esteban Ocon, who we didn't see a single frame of the entire race. But rest assured, he was good enough to get driver of the day. As the unnamed person, team principal, celebrates. There they are. There are the alleged sponsors which are on the car in the future. Keep an eye out for episode 4 next Monday. See the fully decorated car for the first time in a while, as the game has become particularly stable. It's suspicious. I don't like it. But now, though, Radiant Slothz illegally taking pictures on the podium. Celebrates with the champagne. Valtteri Bottas. It's all smiles for now until it gets ugly. Stick with this season and we'll see what can happen. To move on to the final results. And here are the final results. Of course, we know our top 3 already, but they were followed by Sergio Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc and Yuki Tsunoda. Now, as we know, with the Drivers' Championship, they will follow the same order as the race finishes. The only difference here is that Valtteri Bottas picked up the extra point for the fastest lap, and no other changes besides the finishing results. Further down the order, looking much the same, but with Zhou Guanyu sitting in 19th place, which is around about where he finished in the last season, and Christian Lundgaard on his debut, finishing P20, putting him ahead of Nikita Mazepin and George Russell. This is where things get interesting, though. Over in the Constructors, it's Mercedes ahead by 9 points on 34 over rivals at Radiant Racing. Behind, Red Bull and McLaren tied on 18 points apiece after the first race. They're followed by AlphaTauri and then Ferrari, who are having an awful start to the season. And the pointless teams are Aston Martin, Alpine, Alfa Romeo, Williams and Haas. We'll catch you in the next one.